What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, for the last 2 or 3 weeks here at the channel, but really in the genre as a whole, we've all been talking about how Wolverine might make his entrance into the MCU a lot sooner than we thought, and that seemingly culminated last week when a leaked set photo from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in a video I'll make sure to link at the end of this went a long way in setting up his origins, a highly fabled villain, and of course the creator of the Weapon X program. Now, this past weekend, the illustrious scoopster and friend of the channel Mikey Sutton went a long way in laying out and detailing what he's hearing about how Marvel wants to draw up the first outing for Wolverine, including some ancillary characters that you'd think and maybe a superhero team that you wouldn't. We're going to break down exactly what he said in the report, of course issue the normal spoiler warning, and then read through it word for word. And we were lucky enough to catch up with Mikey here at the channel and get a couple of extra details as an exclusive. Like I said, we're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray bill. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So first things first, the normal spoiler warning, which is becoming extremely routine here at the channel, especially as of late with the number of leaks we've been covering. Guys, Mikey Sutton at this point needs no introduction, a friend of mine and a friend here at the channel, and a ubiquitous name in the Marvel leak circuit. This is the guy who pegged Spider-Man and Black Panther both in Civil War, and since then the receptivity rate of his scoops and the amount of correctness, well, it speaks for itself. So if this is in any way going to ruin your Marvel Phase 4, your Disney Plus, your Marvel Studios, and or X-Men Wolverine introduction to the MCU, then go ahead and back out now. Otherwise, you've been warned, and let's go ahead and dive right in and read this word for word as it ran as an exclusive originally on Geekosity. In the snow, they have him surrounded, a savage creature with claws. After Weapon X is liberated from Department K by the X-Men, he participates in one of their missions, but doesn't join the team, as I reported in an earlier scoop. Logan is still a wanted man. He's considered government property, and therefore the country's own Avengers, named Alpha Flight, are sent to hunt him down. Vindicator, North Star, Aurora, Puck, Sasquatch, Shaman, Snowbird. But trying to net Wolverine is one thing, a major problem. Unfortunately, there's another incredible one. Alpha Flight are caught in the crossfire as the Hulk is in Canada as well and in full rage mode. Marvel Studios doesn't think Alpha Flight have the makings of a cinematic franchise. There are too many toys in the box to play with and only enough time, but they would like to see them in the Wolverine film where he fights the Hulk, which is what Mikey scooped over a year ago, and that isn't old news. Marvel Studios sees the potential of Alpha Flight for Disney Plus after appearing in the Wolverine film. The Canadian setting will be fresh and less expensive to shoot, not to mention that the cast is diverse enough from the beginning. They have all the potential to have both the explosive action of the Avengers and the social consciousness of the X-Men. And then we caught up with Mikey Sutton after I read this exclusive. I went ahead and reached out, started talking about this IP in particular, and these are some extra details he provided me alongside this exclusive. Marvel Studios is particularly excited by Sasquatch. Visually speaking, quote, he's a striking figure, especially when locked in a battle with the Hulk and Wolverine. A knockdown bout between Sasquatch and Wolverine and the Hulk in the snow is the kind of widescreen action sequence that stunned audiences. On a deeper level, all 3 superheroes deal with the monstrous or brutal other side. That's something they have in common. Again, Wolverine and Hulk both mirror this. The Disney Plus series would probe the characters' souls further, and don't be surprised if Wolverine or the other members of the X-Men were to make guest appearances on that Alpha Flight show for Disney Plus. And this is again coming directly from Mikey Sutton, and there's a lot to unpack here, but most notably how all of these details not only hold true to an authentic comic book origin introduction for Wolverine in Canada squaring off against the Hulk, aligning them with the other Canadian superhero team Alpha Flight, but how this connects factually to what we already know about Marvel Phase 4 and some other leaks that we've covered along the way, which we're going to get to. But obviously the elephant in the room, Alpha Flight, an older superhero team that's sort of fallen by the wayside, made up of heroes which, to put it lightly, are old school at best and, well, less prevalent in the modern landscape of the Marvel universe. It's going to be interesting to explain if they have a superhero team of their own, where they were for some of these incursions, like, well, the original Battle for New York, and if it is sort of a boundaries thing, maybe they were playing by the Sokovia Accords. It's still interesting that Marvel Studios would choose to do this team at all, Disney Plus movie aside, even in a Wolverine movie. But if you take a step back and you think about Guardians of the Galaxy Galaxy, which was also old school and completely unknown in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although a lot more prevalent in the modern landscape, they were definitely able to turn that into one of the biggest cinematic IPs in the entire world. I have faith in them really at this point to turn anything into a moneymaker, especially something like Alpha Flight, which could be tied directly to the origins of Wolverine. Speaking of which, we had a couple of leaks from the ubiquitous and infamous Roger Wardell that said not only would we be getting a Disney Plus series setting up Weapon X in the Wolverine Origins, which we now know is true given that leaked set photo, and again, I'm not going to cover that in this video we just did. I'll make sure to link that video at the end of this, but there was definitely an O-Gun Easter egg from the back of a jacket on set The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That is the original creator of Weapon X. That couldn't be leading to anything else but Wolverine. And then another leak from Roger Wardell had him getting an Arctic nanotech suit from Shuri. Now, I played that out to all of its logical conclusions, but I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that not one time did I think him amongst the snow in an Arctic tech suit could place him squarely in Canada, from which he hails. Now, it's hard to tell how he would run into Black Panther and Shuri in the first place, how they'd be connected, and whether he would be in Wakanda to receive the suit. Obviously, there's going to be no snow there. It's perhaps the case that Black Panther and or Shuri for some reason will be in Canada, and it could have something to do with the fact that Canada may have been a reserve at this point, something like we saw in Logan, and or someplace where mutants may have been hiding out. Speaking of which, we still have no inkling as to how they're going to be set up in the MCU, and you obviously have to do that first. But if they're going to have a prequel series about the Weapon X program, that would imply that they've already had mutants, which means mutants are already in the MCU. While that opens up a Pandora's box we will definitely discuss in another video coming soon, there's a couple of likely upcoming places we're going to start to see these details fleshed out. Obviously, the first of which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not just that leaked set photo for O-Gun, but we also know we're going to see Madripoor. We also wouldn't be surprised to see some of the first mutants and or X-Men show up during that series, or at least go a long way in explaining what might be going on with Weapon X, a possible connection to, of course, Thunderbolt Ross, and the makings of what's going on in the US government as they try to control superpowered beings. And then, of course, the prequel to that, and the prequel from the Infinity Saga kicking off Marvel Phase 4, the Black Widow movie, which I think a lot of us are expecting will hold some answers and conclusions for Black Widow's narrative arc and storyline, but also will beg a lot of questions from what's been going on in the Infinity Saga. If they're going to have a prequel during that time, this is the perfect place to work in any sort of explainers, retcons, and other details they need to flesh out whatever they've decided to do going forward. Again, if this is one of the only prequels they have on the books, and they definitely need to work in a detail that's going to explain better how mutants work going forward in Marvel Phase 4, outside of doing flashbacks, this is going to be the place to do it. And speaking of mutants, outside of Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and maybe even WandaVision, the other likely place we're going to get a ton of explainers for why mutants like Wolverine would already be in the MCU undergoing Weapon X without having it been explained and or been on the radar for someone like Nick Fury, Tony Stark. Guys, quick side note, they may have been, but that aside is the upcoming Eternals. Now, we've talked about at length how it could be the Celestials, it could be something that happened way back in the history of the Earth, an X gene, something like that, that's been laid latently, and now the snap and the blip, the exposure to the Infinity Stones en masse is what's going to lead to a concentration of superheroes here on Earth as opposed to the rest of the galaxy. But be sure of one thing, they're not going to smack us in the face with Wolverine and leave us with a bunch of questions and a bunch of conjecture. Marvel Studios definitely want to lay out why this all makes sense and how they can introduce mutants into an MCU that's already been going for over a decade strong with no sign of them. They're working hard at that, and something like the introduction of Wolverine is going to force them to lay all the groundwork so there's not sort of any confusion and or that sort of moment where we all go, well, that's not believable. Where was Logan this entire time? Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Having Wolverine square off against Hulk is definitely old news at this point. I've said that's something that Marvel Studios would want to do absolutely given the chance. Now they have the chance, but the introduction of a team like Alpha Flight was definitely something I didn't see coming. Let me know if you guys have any hype for a team like Alpha Flight and or the introduction, obviously, of Wolverine into the MCU. And if you had to guess, if you had to put your money on it, where do you think we will first see Logan pop up, possibly a post-credit scene, possibly as a cameo, and in whose film? I'm all ears. I have my own theory about it, but let me know down below in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 700,000 subscriber mark, which we're headlong into. Could easily hit that by this month's end or next. And of course, a lot of you have asked, we will be giving away the PlayStation 5 once it comes out, but I can't go giving that away until we can get our hands on them, and with limited pre-orders, etc., limited stock because of the delays this year, who knows when we'll be able to give those away. In the meantime, we'll still be giving away PlayStation 4 Pros. Up until that time, all you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like this insane XM Studios 1/4 scale Beta Ray build. Now, if you're not familiar with these kind of collectibles, these are in no way action figures. This is almost 3 feet tall, immaculately sculpted representations of all your favorite Marvel characters. We picked this one up from the XMEN collectibles store, and he actually did a full review on this exact statue that we're giving away, so I'll leave a link to that down in the descriptions if you want to see a further breakdown of this prize. Either way, if you want to be entered to win the Beta Ray bill, either of the PlayStations, or any of the other prizes we give away here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, just like we're talking about it here, and if you've missed any of the previous winners, no worries, there have been a ton this year. We've given away so many PlayStation 4 Pros, I literally can't count. All you have to do to find those winners, scroll back to the channel, look for the winner announcement in the sub count in the title, click on that video, and scroll to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.